Page 50, Song of Spring. 6/8 time, and we're still counting eighth notes. 3 flats, we're still in the key of E flat major. Since I've labeled the sections for you, it's an ABA thing, a ternary form with a coda added on. Keep in mind, a coda in many pieces, a coda is just an afterthought. It's not really part of the piece, it's just, but a coda doesn't have to just be an afterthought. I mean, some composers make it actually another section of the piece. It's an important part of the piece. I'll leave that up to you. I don't care. It's just know that there's a coda on there. It's not given a section letter. It's just the coda. The first line is repeated. Then you have the second line, section B, and then section A is the same as the first line. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a section A, huh? And then you go do the coda. There's no DC fine here or nothing. So once you repeat the first line, you just go straight through it. Starting with the right hand, it's up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. And make sure you lift up on the wrist. That's important. Second line, you're down here. You got to move a little bit, but you got an eighth wrist to move down. It's okay. Then you got to move up. You're doing the same thing an octave higher. Then your third line's the same as the first, and then the coda. You're down here. And the same thing up here. And then the last 2 measures, you get bass clef. See the bass clef? You got to way down here to the Z flat. And make sure you include these rests in here. It's important. Left hand just has this accompanying the broken chord pattern. Just transfer weight from finger to finger. 1 chord, a 5/7 chord. In the second line, it's a 5/7 chord. We're just not using all the notes. Then 1 chord, now you get treble clef. So now you got to come up here and do the same thing an octave higher. This fun. Oh boy. Go down to the coda. You're here. You're using thumb on both. You just slide off. You just have to time it just right so you play the notes at the same time. Same thing, an octave higher. You can use second finger on the E flat if you want, doesn't matter. And then the last 2 measures, you're way down here, E flat. Put the hands together. See, that B flat has to be by itself. Make sure the right hand is resting. Repeat that. However, let's go on. Second line. Now you got to be able to get both hands up there. So you're here and to here. So you know where you are, you know where you want to go, and you know which fingers. You can do it one hand at a time quickly if you'd rather. Make sure the lead hand always moves first. That, in this case, you're going up, so it'll be the right hand moves first if you do that. Otherwise, just, and you have to look at the keyboard for that one, obviously, but otherwise, when you're not moving around, you shouldn't have to look at the keyboard. Then back down here. So you are moving around a little bit. Look at the coda. You're here. Both hands go up. Now both hands go way down. That's the piece. Dynamic wise, well, the first line, it's an MF-MP, so the first time you play it, it's moderately loud, and then when you repeat it, you go down a little bit, a little softer. That's the right hand. The left hand stays soft. And then softer. You'll have to decide what moderately loud, moderately soft is for you. There. Just whatever you decide it is, make it consistent throughout the whole piece. So if you're moderately loud, whatever it is at the beginning, then it's going to be that way in the beginning of the second line, and the third line, and the coda. So be consistent with how loud each of these are, but you decide what they are. Andante, It's a nice leisurely stroll, but it's the feel of the piece that's leisurely, not necessarily. I mean, if I do these eighth notes as a leisurely stroll, it's here. That sounds slow, because it is. It's the flow of the piece that's andante. So you have to get to know the piece and get the feeling of it's just a nice gentle flow along overall. And you play the notes however fast you have to in order to get that feel. Now they've added pedal for the last two measures. I completely disagree with that. I would suggest you leave the pedal out. It does nothing but mess it up. You've done this whole thing clean without any overtones or nothing. So to add overtones at the end, I mean it's loud, but you can play it loud without pedal. To me, what's that got to do with spring? You know, it's like, no. You want to get loud, that's fine, but I strongly recommend you leave pedal out. Just play it. Like so. Now there's a note at the top of this. Also, you can transpose it to E major, because in this case it's easy to do. You're just simply going from 3 flats to 4 sharps, but you're reading the same notes. So instead of here, you're just going up a half step. I mean, to me that sounds a little more like spring than this. This is a little more like autumn, I think. But this, so you can try that. You need to know the E major scale and the 4 notes that are sharped. And it's just automatically know them. And if you know the scale, that would help you do that. And the primary chords for it, of course. Let's try this out slowly together. I'll give us 6 counts. I'm not going to do the dynamics, but I'll try and do everything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, go. Repeat. Rest. 4, 5, rest. 2, rest. 2, rest. 2, rest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.